Yo, what's good? It's me, it's AIM, and we making a little YouTube video. So this right here, this the intro. So I'm gonna be going over the making of Outsider and how it came to be. So yeah, man, let's get into it. Chapter 1, the cover art. Outsider went through many cover arts, a total of 4 before going on to make the final and official version. And in case you're wondering how I made it, I'll tell you. To make the cover art, I just used CapCut and put a black square on and put a bunch of different fonts on it. And then, put them all together, and then we got what we got, Anyway, let's move on to the first original 4 cover arts, starting with the first one, and then the second one, and then the third, and the fourth. And last but not least, the final version. When I was creating the first 4 versions of the cover, I was just trying to make something that looked cool. But as I was making that 5th and final version, I decided that I wanted it to have real meaning behind it. So I brainstormed on it for a while. But the whole story that it is telling is that you see all the different fonts, and they're all different from each other, and they all stand out. But when you put all those fonts together on that album cover, it makes, one whole picture, and they all blend together nicely, and it creates a cool album cover. So yeah. Chapter 2, album versions. Now, before we get into talking about the actual versions of Outsider itself, I would like to comment on the fact that some of the songs across the versions of Outsider, and one song that's on the final release version of Outsider, were on a deleted EP titled Makeshift Heart Repair. But the cover art of that I found on Pinterest. And I think it was 5 Seconds of Summer, and I didn't really realize it. So I had to cut it out and then rename it, and that's where Outsider V1 comes in. Also, just a fair warning, you may have to pause to read. Anyway, back to Outsider V1. This was basically just an EP, which was just really a renamed and fixed Makeshift Heart Repair with a new cover art, so I guess completely rebranded. The only real difference between this and the original Makeshift Heart Repair is the added track Deep Down Below. And this was created in early March is the date of this version. After that, we move on to Outsider V2. This is when Outsider became an album concept instead of just an EP, and when I decided to make it a full album project. The new songs on this version include the intro Crash, Vampire, Poison Words, and finally, I Don't Even Understand Myself. This version also includes the removal of Break My Chains because I lost the file up until very recently, so we won't see that song again. This version is dated April 17th, 2025. I'd also like to add the date is when all 10 of these got put in my files as a folder. So probably the last song I made out of these 10, I finished it, put all 10 songs in a folder, and then that is the date for this version. And now we move on to Outsider V3. Firstly, we have a new cover art. Well, I wouldn't say new, but an updated one, which being the V2 cover art, which contains doves behind the original text of Outsider. So that's really the only change to the V2 cover art. And as for changes in the track list, we have the addition of 100 Missed Calls, Cyanide, and Solo, the bonus track, and the removal of Deep Down Below and I Don't Understand Myself. This version is dated May 16th, 2025. Up next, we have Outsider V4. There's a lot to talk about with this one. This is when the album really started taking shape, and you see bits and pieces of what is on the album that released. We have the Outsider intro. We have Cyanide, which was there before, but we have the first version of Head Down, which was just a solo song, did not have Simi or Katie's feature. Crash was moved to the interlude. Don't Run From Me was also added. Solutions was added, but it had a different second verse than what we know today. And the bonus track Solo got removed as well. And with this version, we get the third variation of the cover art for the album, removing the doves and placing a skull on top of the O. The date of this version is June 8th. And before we move on to the next version, I do want to give y'all a little treat and show you the original second verse of Solutions. Take a listen.
I am so tired, I'm exhausted. I feel like demons took control of my cockpit, and I can't stop it. But wait, I can't because God has a plan. I'm feeling like the man, I do not need no sense. I'm high on Christ, I'm high on faith. I'ma praise his name, I'ma praise his name.
That was so big, man. That was so beautiful. But the best part about all of this is the verse I replaced it with, man. It's even better. Oh my God, it's even better. You gotta go stream it and check it out. Anyway, Twin and M's, on to Outsider V5. It was around when I made this version of Outsider when I decided I wanted to go on all platforms. The biggest change here is the removal of every single song that did not use a free-for-profit beat. And the songs that didn't, and therefore were removed, consist of Vampire, Poison Words, 100 Missed Calls, I Hate Me, Crash, Midnight, Time Heals All Wounds, and Begging for Peace. Songs added in this version consist of I Let Her Ruin Me, which was the original version of So Alone, which is basically a completely different song, all different lyrics, just on the same instrumental. Radio Silence, but the original 4-minute version. And I Wish. Wait a minute. Did I forget one? Oh yeah, and Notice Man. The date on this version is July 1st, 2025, and it was actually the last version I made up until late September of 2025, because I wanted to focus on my debut album trilogy. Which is also fire, by the way. I'm sorry, that was so goofy, bro. What was that? Alright, now we are on to Outsider V6. This is where you really start to see the final product come into shape, and it introduces the final and official album cover. Additions include All Roads Lead to Rome, Fighting Satan, Darkness, Thank God I'm Alive, and I Let Her Ruin Me / So Alone. Now for that, what I did is actually just combine the two songs. Like, I transitioned them into one clean song. It was like 7 minutes long. As like a double song, you know how like Tyler the Creator on his most recent album had Don't Tap the Glass / Tweakin', and usually they're different beats, but you know, I do me, yeah. Okay, bro, whatever. Alright, like back in, let's get to the next one! Outsider V7. I'm just gonna keep it an absolute buck with you, okay? This version is dated almost a whole month after V6, which, when talking about V6, I forgot to say the date, but it was on the screen. It was September 24th. No big deal. Anyway, there is low-genuinely only a singular change, which is the addition of Running Out of Time, which, if you follow me on Instagram, you're very familiar with that song. That is the main song I'm pushing on Instagram, at least. I do 3 reels in a row of Running Out of Time, then I pick another song, do a reel for it, then 3 more reels, and, you know, so on and so on. And you may wonder why there's only one change in almost a month. That's because I was working on Spencer, which is the final album of my debut trilogy. So, yeah. Anyway, on to Outsider V8. This version is dated almost like a month and a half after the last one. After my debut album trilogy, I really took a breath and took a small step back for a second, because making music is awesome, but I was working and grinding on those like trilogy for a while, and I was like, you know, take a breath. And then anyway, I got back to this, and there's only a few changes here. KD's feature got added to Head Down, which is a whole funny story. I sent it to KD, then accidentally sent the same open to Simi because he also wanted the feature, and then I had to contact them both and be like, hey, can y'all guys both be on the song? So you'll see Simi on this song, really, I think next version actually. Anyway, the only other song added was Across the Finish Line, and then All Roads Lead to Rome got removed, which is pretty sad. I actually was gonna have that be like one of the lead singles. I really like that song, but the beat was a free for profit, and someone bought exclusive rights to it. So also, I removed Don't Run From Me because I just didn't feel it met the standards of the album, in my opinion. Anyway, on to the next, Outsider V9. These final few are probably going to be really quick, but with this version, there's only 2 changes. The reordering of the tracks, which is more like what we see on the official album, and Simi's verse was added to Head Down. So now it's featuring KD and Simi instead of just KD. With that being said, on to Outsider V10. The literal only difference here is Across the Finish Line was replaced with Worthy featuring Isaiah. And last but not least, Outsider V11, the official release. And the changes are Worthy featuring Isaiah was swapped with Vision featuring Isaiah, and I Let Her Ruin Me / So Alone was cut to just So Alone, and Radio Silence was trimmed down into a more cohesive song. Chapter 3, Hidden Messages. As you know, Outsider was a surprise release on February 2nd, but as that date got closer, there was some hidden messages pointing to it all along. I was low-key moving like the Riddler. See ya! Whah! All these cryptic messages all took place over on my Instagram, itsaim.mp3. But yeah, let me show you what nobody figured out, and why nobody figuring it out is what I wanted. Now this right here was the first image I posted to my Instagram story. I can't find the actual story, my bad. but the monitor was scribbled out white because I didn't announce like the name or cover art. But this is what was posted on my story. And here is the hidden message. World War II, Modern Warfare 2, 2/2, February 2nd. The next teaser on my story was this, which is pretty simple. The clock says 2:02, and if you put that in date, it would be February 2nd. This was the next story, and I've said it in text the last two, but I'm saying just right now. The red obviously wasn't there, the red drawing. But anyway, this is more in the audio than the story itself. The audio is called Idea 22. 22/22, February 2nd. Now with this one, I decided to go a little bit of a different route. Instead of a story, I used the note. And it's nothing in the wording of the note, it's the song I chose. The unreleased song Misery Avenue by Juice WRLD. As you can see here, it was recorded on February 2nd. Now this one we're back with stories. This time it's in the audio I chose again, being Cigarettes by Juice WRLD, which released on February 2nd. Now real quickly, I want to go back to this post because I also said, in the meantime, stream Notice Me Please, which ties into the fact that Notice Me was not only just the lead single, but also kind of a clue in itself. And what I mean by it being a clue is the title itself, Notice Me. I am telling the listener to notice me, to notice all these hints. Like the song came out January 16th, and then after that I started posting all those hints up until February 2nd. So I told, the song is telling them to notice me. And I knew they wouldn't. And the fact that they didn't notice me, ties into the theme of the album. Outsider feeling left out, being a misfit, not fitting in, feeling like you're not noticed, you're not heard. Boom. Hey, I would like to get on here myself and say thank you, sincerely, like seriously, thank you for watching to the end of the video. Go stream Outsider by It's Aim, W album, I made it, I know. And this video is coming out Thursday, tomorrow for me. Which means if you're watching this, Outsider the Lost Tapes drops tomorrow, Friday, March 6th. The Lost Tapes, everything in here that wasn't on the album, everything that got canceled, is a SoundCloud exclusive drop. I should preface that. SoundCloud exclusive. It is all the songs that didn't make it. Enjoy.